All right, you guys want to do this? Do this bad boy?
Let's turn this party out.
Ladies and gentlemen, make yourselves comfortable. I am Kent Garrison.
I'm Brian Gill.
And I'm Richard Barton.
And this is Mad
About
Movie.
You sound insane. You realize that? Yeah. The whole world gone crazy. Are you serious? Ladies and gentlemen. It's showtime.
Mad About Movies is all you need to listen to about the world of cinema. We break down movie news, movie rumors, opinions, columns, anything you want to hear about in the world of cinema, we break down on this show. Then, at the end of the show, we break down one single movie that is our movie of the week.
That is exactly right, Richard. And today, Brian, what is the movie of the week?
Movie of the week is the Best Picture nominated Zero Dark 30.
I am bad news. I'm not your friend. I'm not going to help you. I'm going to break you. Any questions?
Controversial for its content. Also very important film, I think. So we're excited to talk about this one today.
I'm very excited as well. Richard, are you excited?
I'm excited, and once again, if you have not seen Zero Dark 30, you are more than welcome to listen to the first half of this podcast.
Exactly.
We will then break off. We'll give you plenty of warning. No spoiler alerts here, and then, pardon me, you can just head off, do your own thing, and we will sit here by ourselves alone and break down Zero Dark 30.
Exactly. All by our lonesome. And we'll have a good time doing it, I promise you.
Exactly. I'm staring out the window at the rain right now as we speak.
Yeah. And I've got incense burning. And I'm in the dark, and so it's very personal, and but it's fun. It's fun, personal.
I'm in a bubble bath right now.
Exactly. Hey, all right. Well, let's get things kicked off. A little bit of movie news. Brian, anything you want to mention right off the top?
Yeah, I got nothing. It's been one of those weeks. I'm relying on you guys for movie news today. So it's been one of those weeks where this thing called I think it's a job or a yob, perhaps.
Right.
Soft J, yeah.
It was pretty crazy. So I've been a little bit out of it this week, and I'm excited for what you guys are going to bring to the table for me this week.
We have nothing, so let's...
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
No, I have... luckily, there's always Star Wars news.
Right.
So we can...
is this going to just become a Star Wars podcast?
It's going to be... As long as there's relevant Star Wars news that's breaking as we're recording these podcasts, I feel like we should mention them. And the only ones they have confirmed what the spin-off movies are going to be about.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe we haven't. I don't think we've recorded since they've done that. I think last podcast we were speculating Yoda, I think.
Right.
And so, Brian, do you know who they've confirmed?
Yeah, the two that we've heard is Han Solo or Han Solo, depending upon how you want to pronounce that, and Boba Fett.
Right.
Which I think are probably the two that you could have guessed off the top. You know that it was probably going to end up being, but still no less exciting. I think that's two prime suspects for that are worth a look in a standalone sort of movie. So I'm excited.
I agree with you. Who would your choice Who would your choice have been? If I know I had my own ideas of who I wanted the spin-off movies to be about.
Yeah. I think honestly, those would probably be my first two choices. Assuming that Han Solo we're gonna get Chewbacca involved.
Yeah.
Then I'm good with that. But
I
think those are
and hopefully they get Jabba the Hutt's backstory in there too.
Yeah.
How he rises to power. That's kind of I wanted them to go into that a little bit more. I thought that was intriguing.
That'd be good too.
I think they should just title it 12 Parsecs and have it just be a buddy comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
With Chewie and Han.
The Kessel Run. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's really exciting. I feel like they've already tried to do the Boba Fett origin story, though, with the prequels.
Right.
The whole Jango Fett, Boba Fett as a kid and all that. Didn't really go over well. So hopefully hopefully like Zack Snyder or somebody gets a hold of it and makes it really sweet, you know.
Right. It would be great if they could just erase what happened in the prequels away from the canon, at least as far as Boba Fett is concerned, and just completely start over and just say that didn't happen.
Don't doubt George Lucas, because he probably will do that someday. Just like he did with the original Star Wars movies. They never existed that way, you know?
Right.
He'll probably just change them up and re-edit them and then burn every original copy of the prequels.
Right.
So who would
Hopefully.
your choices be for Boba Fett and or Han Solo casting? This is all just conjecture, obviously, but if you had to pick.
Right. Well, I think you got to go, obviously, Joseph Gordon-Levitt maybe for Han Solo.
Yeah, that could work.
I think that would be awesome.
I'm also thinking for some reason I have Bradley Cooper on my brain.
Ooh, yeah.
But I mean, I always do.
I mean, but that's
just because it's Tuesday. I mean,
I love him. No, but I think he has that kind of. I think he has the look a little more than JGL.
right. But I think they probably want to cast it a little bit younger. I mean, Han was like in his 30s when they did the originals. So
That's true.
I don't know. They probably want to go back a little bit further.
yeah.
That's true.
I think my choice, off the top of my head, my first choices would be Ryan Gosling.
That's good.
I'm a big fan of his.
Wow,
and
that would be awesome.
I see him doing a lot of different things. I think he'd be good in the role. So I'd enjoy seeing that. But I really feel like there's a lot of choices that you could have for
Fassbender.
that character. Yeah, Fassbender. Maybe Nathan Fillion from Castle.
Oh, yeah,
and Firefly, all that stuff.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, totally. He can play anything. The
John
Rock,
Goodman.
maybe.
You know, don't count John
Yes.
Goodman out.
Just go old Han Solo and have it be Goodman. That would be all. I would watch the heck.
He can
out of
conquer
that.
any role. He's proven he can conquer any role.
Yeah, yeah.
Black Han Solo.
Yeah.
Cat Williams. I mean, I'm up for anything really.
Exactly. And the Boba Fett one kind of interests me more than the Yoda one. The Yoda one didn't really interest me just because it probably would have been a CGI Yoda for an entire movie. I don't know if I could have handled that. Unless there were other interesting characters along with it, maybe.
And one of the, I don't remember which one, but one of the prequels is pretty Yoda intensive. Like, I feel like we already have our Yoda story.
Right.
And you know what? I'm cool. He whipped that guy's butt with the lightsaber and then walked off with the cane and everyone cheered.
Yep.
That's all I need.
Yeah, he did the backflip already. We've seen all we need to
We've
see.
seen him backflip.
Exactly. Hey, so any other movie news you guys want to talk about?
Well, we've got, let's see.
I have another one that's sort of not in the Star Wars vein, but J.J. Abrams has said he's working on a movie for Portal, the video game.
Okay.
Do you know about Portal?
I don't, I'm blissfully ignorant of all things video games, post Mario Kart SNES.
Right. Brian, do you know about Portal?
What it is, but I've never, I mean, I know what it is, but I've never played it. I'm also fairly terrible at video games, so I've never been a huge video game guy. But I know the concept, and it's an interesting.
It's more of a puzzle game, kind of. I mean, you have to create these portals to try to find your way out of a room, and so there's this gun that shoots portals or whatever. It's a really intriguing game, really fun game, and it would make a really good movie. And with J.J. Abrams behind it, I think it could be really cool. So, yeah, look forward to that. That's all I'll say. Go play Portal because you got a couple years until the movie comes out. So you want to
right.
say
How's he
you're
going
there
to
for it.
squeeze that into his schedule? That's what I
Oh,
wanna
man,
know.
dude, this guy is so busy. And he's got a ton of TV show series coming out, too, in development. And, you know, he's got Star Trek 3 and 2 and in Star Wars. I mean...
He's actually vacuuming the other room at my house right now.
Yeah.
Good guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll do anything for the fans. That's his bit.
And I'm not even that big of a fan. That's what's
Right.
really weird.
He's trying to win you over.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Speaking of TV series, what have you guys been watching on
Ooh.
TV?
That's a
Okay.
good question.
So
Go for
I'm
it.
hooked on House of Cards.
Okay, I'm glad you
okay.
mentioned that because that's why I brought it up. I wanted to talk about House of Cards.
Oh, man. So
I
awesome.
have been watching it as well. And those of you who don't know what it is, Richard, can you please explain House
Sure,
of Cards?
House of Cards is sort of not only a show, but also a grand announcement of the format. It is a Netflix original program. So all 13 episodes were released a few weeks ago in one moment on Netflix, trying to redefine the way we watch television. So that is it. It stars Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood, who's a congressman and majority whip in the House. Robin Wright Penn, Kate Mara, a few other people I'm spacing on.
Directed
Couple
by
that you
David
recognize.
Fincher.
Constance, yeah, David Fincher directed a few episodes. Joel Schumacher directed a few episodes. Constance Zimmer, I think is her name, is in it as well. Good actress. So it's excellent. I would give it an A so far. I'm only 6 episodes in though of the 13.
Right.
So it could take a terrible turn.
I am only about 4 episodes in. And Richard, I knew you would be crazy about this show. I was hoping you hadn't seen it because I wanted to mention it because it's very. I mean, you're into politics probably way more than Brian or I. So I knew you'd be super into it. So what are your thoughts about it?
Okay, so it is it is essentially tailor-made for me because it not only includes politics and sort of the backstabbing nature of politics, which we know I love and read every book on and am a huge nerd about,
right?
But also, I don't know if you know this about me, Kent. I am a pretty normal guy. I would say my interests are pretty normal. I have one weird thing where I'm a pretty nutty Shakespeare guy. And
I've heard. I think you have told me that. Yeah.
So this,
I don't think you remember telling me that.
This show is extremely Shakespearean. It's all about power and corruption. It's
right.
It's Macbeth and Richard III all rolled up to one. It has this very questionable protagonist who's actually the bad guy, but is really a good guy. We root for him. I love Richard III. Ironically, or I guess not ironically, but coincidentally. Kevin Spacey just got done playing Richard III for the last 3 or 4 years in a really cool production of that play, and you can really see, even though the characters are vastly different, you can really, one's from South Carolina and one's the King of England. There's so much that he probably learned from that performance that he puts into Frank Underwood. It's just a really good show. It's plotted really well. The dialogue's a little shaky at times just because when you watch this sort of insider political thing, you think of Aaron Sorkin or these kind of masters of dialogue.
Right,
I would say,
It's a little attempting to be Sorkin-esque a lot.
And so I would say it succeeds and even exceeds as far as plot development and character go. I think the character's really deep and really rich. I would say the only place where it isn't quite as good as something Sorkin or I'm trying to think of a few other people that write in that space, but I would say the dialogue is maybe a 8 out of 10 instead of a 9 or 10. But I mean, it's excellent. Kevin Spacey's so locked in. I mean, we haven't seen him like this in probably 10 years, aside from, if you were lucky enough to see him in the theater. And
he's one of my favorites ever.
He's
2-time
so
Academy Award winner. Just he's one of the gems,
And this character is so, you could tell he just loves playing it. It's just built for him. And I would say as good as he is, I was talking to a friend about this today, the real star of that show is kind of the production designer. Because the clothes and the sets and everything are just unbelievably. It's a really beautiful, and a lot of that's Fincher the way he shoots it, but a lot of it's just the way it's designed. Just a really cool. I love it. I can't wait. I watch 1 or 2 before I go to bed every night. I can't wait.
Me too. Yeah, I've been falling asleep to it. It's not in a bad way, but it's great.
Yeah.
Brian, have you familiar with House of Cards?
I haven't gotten to watch it yet. Just been too busy, but I'm excited about it because the first thing I asked Richard when he was talking to me about it was, are we getting what Kevin Spacey are we getting? Are we getting the Kevin Spacey who's locked in and is really into the character, or are we getting the Kevin Spacey who's just here collecting a paycheck? And
Kent, would you answer this for me? Because I already answered for Brian, but go ahead and with your answer.
I say he has one of the most convincing South Carolinian accents that I've seen for a Washington politician in a long time. The
thing I like about this show too, Brian, I know you'll appreciate this because you're sort of disinterested, but the show is really, and I think purposefully, apolitical. They never talk about a single issue. It's all about these relationships. I believe he's a Democrat. Frank Underwood is a Democrat, but the only reason you know that is because he's taking out other Democrats in the Congress. And it's never like, well, this is going to make a statement on this issue. No, it's much more about the kind of back channel backstabbing and things like that you never really get to see portrayed. Well in a show. So it's not. I would say it's a show about politics that is no way macro political. It's only political in the sense of mano v mano, people outwitting each other. But I really like how sort of apolitical it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm very interested, and the concept intrigues me. Spacey, when he's on, like I said, is incredible. I mean, he's one of the best actors in the world when he's on, and I'm also just interested from the standpoint of I want to see how the format plays out. Just because I'm so excited about Arrested Development, and I kind of want to get it's almost like an opportunity to get a preview, you know what I mean, of how that's going to work. And that almost, in some ways, that interests me almost.
Also, Brian, I mean, I know you got a few things ahead of it on the queue and you don't want to dive into a full 13 episodes, but if you can this week, seriously watch the first episode.
Okay.
Because I think you'll really, it's almost standalone. Especially the first 2 episodes. Those are the 2 Fincher did. I think you could watch those 2, take a break, and then you come back to the show when you have more time. But I think you would really enjoy, almost as a movie, watching the first episode or 2.
Okay, I'll give that a shot, and I'll try to report back on next week's episode.
Yeah, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
I wanted to just ask you guys to have a conversation about the just the experiment, the format that this show is being released. Obviously, it's something very new, but it's very exciting to me. I was so stoked to just go on there one day and have the entire season. So cool. On there. Right. And Arrested Development, it's going to be like Christmas morning. When I get that. So I think this is going to be Netflix is going to be like the new HBO. I mean, people are going to take these series there, and they're going to make money back. From obviously they're going to be able to track how many people are downloading and all that. Better than they probably would with HBO, more accurately.
So you guys know I work in like wireless, technologies. So the kind of cool one of the cool things about my job is that I get these what's called the CEA Smart Brief. And that's the Consumer Electronics Smart Brief. So every day in my email, I have and anyone can sign up for this. I just knew to sign up for it because of my job. But it's just a kind of a 10-story rundown of what's going on in the world of consumer electronics. And that's fairly broad. It's everything from cell phones to game consoles to, anything. And anyway, one of the lead stories on there today was now Xbox Live or Xbox, Microsoft is looking in purchasing scripts right now to begin their own original programming. So it could be something where, Netflix obviously kind of enters the fold, but it could be a thing where, you have HBO, but now you have Showtime and now you have all that stuff. So it could definitely kind of grow and we could have all these digital formats to watch shows on.
I really think,
I think that's great. I mean, I'm sorry, Kent, I didn't mean to cut you off. As the networks go more and more towards Whitney and crap like that, I think it's important. I mean, I really do. I mean, we could do a whole episode on this, but I really think it's important for this Netflix bit and even the stuff that's on Hulu and things like that to be successful, because that's going to be for people like us that want to watch shows like Parks and Rec and Arrested Development and Community and stuff like that. I feel like we're about to enter a phase where it's going to be harder and harder to find that stuff by traditional methods. And we, for people like us, having Netflix or Microsoft or whatever produce that kind of content, that's a big deal for us. I mean, that's a big deal for me anyway.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping for great things from the Arrested Development and from House and all this stuff. I want it to succeed, even if, like, House of Cards is a great example of, you guys have sold it to me really well. It's not normally the sort of thing that I want to watch, but I want to watch it just if for no other reason than help it be successful. You know what I mean? And hopefully more of that stuff comes as we get more and more into that method.
Sweet. Well, Brian, anything you've been watching on TV that you wanted to mention?
Oh man, the only thing that I was really,
or did you see a movie this week you wanted to talk about?
You want to do the weekly recommend bit here, or you want to hold that?
Well, if you not necessarily if you're going to recommend it. I was just asking if you had seen a movie this week. I don't know if you see what you would want to recommend or what. Sure.
I did see a movie this week, and I'm I hesitate to mention it because I didn't give it.
That's the one I'm asking about.
Yeah. So I guess Thursday night I went to see I intended to go see the Stallone movie, Bullet to the Head, just because, Stallone. And so I went to do that. I missed the showtime, so I'm already here, so I look up, and the only thing that was playing within the next 20 minutes was Identity Thief with Bateman and Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, no.
And I was already there. I have a movie pass. It's free, so I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it a try. and it wasn't horrible. And I feel nervous even to say that it's not the worst thing I've ever seen because it looks horrible. I mean, It just looks like the worst thing. But I didn't hate my life. I laughed a little bit. It's easy laughter the whole time. It's the easiest jokes that you can make. The script is appalling. The guy who wrote it is I didn't know his name, and now I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I went back and looked afterwards, and his most recent credits were Scary Movie 3 and 4 and The Hangover 2 and 3. So clearly he's a wordsmith, and a craftsman of writing scripts. But it's appalling. But the direction's pretty good. It's the guy who did Seth Gordon, the guy who did Horrible Bosses, which is pretty solid comedy. It's not awful.
Horrible Bosses was okay to me. Richard, did you see that?
I did not. I never saw that. I apologize.
I enjoyed Horrible Bosses. I think it was funny.
It had its moments.
Yeah, definitely.
Charlie Day was the best part of it.
Yeah. It's similar. It's not a huge hit by any means, and it took me about 30 minutes to decide that I'm going to go ahead and laugh at some of these bits that I know are pretty stupid. But it's not awful, and it's for an hour and a half you could do worse. So.
I love Bateman, obviously, and as we all do. But I hesitate to even talk about this because it's sort of controversial. I am at a complete loss on Melissa McCarthy. I have to say I don't get it. I can't think of one time she's made me laugh. Even in Bridesmaid, I thought she was insufferable, even though the movie was good. I saw her. Everyone raved about her SNL hosting, and I thought it was one of the worst episodes in years. To me, she's someone kind of doing a bad Chris Farley impression as a female and falling downstairs, and it's all physical, but it's not really. I don't know. I've seen physical comedy done much better by much funnier men and women. I am embarrassingly enough, a Gilmore Girls fan, which she was on for years, and really love her. She's kind of a quirky character. She's not anything like the persona that she's sort of been doing in the last few years in film, and she's just sort of likable and funny. And it's not really her. For some reason this comic persona that she's invented, which admittedly everyone else in the world finds hilarious, is really lost on me. And the fact that she was nominated for an Academy Award is absolutely insane to me.
It is appalling. Yeah. I
literally remember screaming at the television last year when she was nominated and just blown away. And so,
the most Richard, the most memorable line is, "I don't know which end that came out of."
Yeah, I mean,
that's Academy Award worthy.
I sort of overstated where I said she was insufferable in Bridesmaids. She's fine, she's funny, but that's like saying, I don't know, Ed Helms in The Hangover, Academy Award nominated.
Right.
It's like, no, he was serviceable, and he read his lines in a funny way.
Right.
But to me, it's just kind of like society's trying to be too hip with the I don't know. It's just like I don't get it. I'm sorry, I'm going on way too long, but she is absolutely 100%.
I can see why. And when it's kind of the same thing when Robert Downey Jr. got nominated for Tropic Thunder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was a great performance, but I mean, it's kind of like, okay, come on, Academy Award. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, I would disagree with you a little bit on that because that's a pretty incredible performance. Not just the difficulty of it, but he's really locked in, and
it's a great performance. But I mean, it's not. I'm saying it's. And McCarthy's is great too, but it's not one that you would normally see the Academy going for. It's just kind of one of those trendy picks. You know what I mean?
Right, but Downey, I mean, became an African American man and was, just sort of encapsulated his character of something that we've never really seen. It was sort of a
right. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah,
but this girl put her leg up in an airplane. She's like 8 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't have any problem with that, but it's like everyone sort of gives her points for that, and it's like, okay, well,
right.
I would say, I'm just saying, if she should be nominated for an Oscar, Amy Poehler should have 95 Peabodys. I mean, it's just there's so many better talents out there.
Yeah. I would say if you are like Richard,
funny, but go ahead. I'm sorry, Brian.
No, you're fine. If you're like Richard and you feel that way about Melissa McCarthy, then do not see Identity Thief.
I saw the trailer and was just like, and everyone in the theater was just rolling laughing, kind of like that.
I kind of take the middle ground. I said going in, I think I tweeted something like, we might as well retitle this Melissa McCarthy makes us regret Bridesmaids, because I saw the trailers too and I thought, oh my gosh, she's just going to be a nut. And I'm not interested in that. And she kind of is, but it's a little more reined in than I anticipated it being. And Bateman is so good at slow comedy, and it plays well. It plays relatively well, I'll say, in this movie. So,
if you go back and watch old Jack Lemmon movies, it's so Bateman. He's this kind of comic straight man of our time. I really think he is. He's such good. He's funny. Don't get me wrong. He's not just a boring, stiff, straight guy. But Jack Lemmon was funny, and he's great. But yeah, I'm sorry, I went on way too long with Melissa McCarthy. I'm at a loss. I don't get it. I wish her well. She seems like a really nice person. Loved her in Gilmore Girls. Like I said, would love to see her do some like smaller character work. But this like I said, this Chris Farley, Jack Black impression she's doing is doesn't make the rich man laugh. But obviously, I'm in the minority.
Well, if you disagree with Richard's opinion and you want to tell him so, you can check out richardbarden.com.
Richardbarden.com or tweet me at richardbarden.
Just slaughter him. It's fine.
Richard, I will say that it made $37 million opening weekend, so there will most likely be a sequel.
Are you serious? Did it make that much money?
Yeah,
shocking amount of
It
money.
made like a ton of money.
She's a star. She's an absolute star, and I love her, and I want to be on her team. No, but if I was just that big of a front runner and just changed immediately, no, it's great. Obviously, it's one of those things where hopefully I'm self-aware enough in life where I say, look, everyone else in the world gets this. Don't be a jerk about it, because you're obviously something's wrong with you, Richard. So I fully admit that. I'm just saying personally, don't get it, but I'm just old man Richard. I'm going to go back in my chair now and
just keep talking about Jack Lemmon. That'll help.
Yeah, exactly. Way to scoot young, Barden. Yeah.
Something else I wanted to mention off the top, kind of movie news. I saw a trailer for Monsters University. Did you guys see that?
I haven't seen the trailer yet. No,
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I feel like I've let the podcast down this week.
It's not like I told you guys to watch it beforehand or anything,
right.
But
that's
it just came out. I think it just came out yesterday. It looks really, really funny, and I just want to say I'm really, really stoked about it. And
when does it come out?
It comes out, I believe, in June. Usually, that's when the Pixar movie comes out of the year. So I watched Monsters Inc. the other day, and man, that's one of the great Pixar movies, and anything besides Brave is a good thing. So I'm really stoked about that.
Not a Brave fan?
I liked Brave, but it didn't feel like a Pixar movie. It felt like a Disney. It felt like a Disney movie.
Yeah,
it felt like a Beauty and the Beast kind of.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like a clever like Pixar-esque. Which Monsters Inc. had. I watched it yesterday, and I just felt like from the opening credits, you're like, wow, this is already like it's got that charm to it. And Brave didn't have the charm, so I'm really excited about it, and can't have enough John Goodman. So
totally. No, that's a good one to bring up. I love Monsters Inc. and I think it's one of the more underrated. I keep saying underrated every week on podcasts. I'm going to call something underrated. That'll be my bit. I think it's one of the forgotten Pixar movies. Let's put it that way.
It's my number one.
Toy Story and Incredibles, and those are all great. But I love Monsters Inc. and I think it was an important film for that studio to go from. I think they did Toy Story and then Bug's Life. And I want to say that was the next one. Maybe Toy Story 2 is right after that. But had a whole lot of a lot of warmth, a lot of heart, and also very clever, just like Toy Story and everything else. But I thought I think it's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. So I'm excited to see the sequel, especially given that the last couple of Pixar movies have been. I liked Brave, but you're right, it wasn't a Pixar movie, and Cars 2 is just awful.
I didn't even bother seeing Cars 2. So yeah. I hope The Incredibles gets a sequel.
Yeah.
I know we're getting a Finding Nemo one.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Albert Brooks just signed on today for Finding Nemo 2, by the way. Little news for you. Late breaking, Richard Barden reporting.
It's Brad Bird that did The Incredibles, right?
Yeah,
so that's probably why. Brad Bird's been doing everything. So
What's he have coming up next? Do we know? What's Brad Pitt doing?
He's doing a movie with Damon Lindelof, who wrote Prometheus and Star Trek. It's called Tomorrowland.
Okay.
And
it's a secret.
It's a sci-fi movie. That's all they've told us. And I guess it'll kind of
do we know who's in it?
Be a backstory to the Disneyland Tomorrowland. I'm sure it has some kind of tie-in, like Pirates of the Caribbean style to that.
Right.
We don't know anything other than the title and the writer and the director. So
yeah,
everyone thought it was
shrouded in mystery.
Everyone thought it was Star Wars 7 at first because it was Brad Bird and Damon Lindelof. Right. And because of Brad Bird's connections to Disney, so they thought the working title was 1952. So everyone was like, that's Star Wars 7 or whatever.
That's somebody I would love to see do one of the other. I didn't even think about that till just now. I love Brad Bird. I thought MI4 was awesome.
Brad Bird was my number one for episode
Star
7.
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope he does 8 or 9 because I hadn't even thought about him. That's awesome. I'd be 100% down for that.
Brad Bird is director. Tom Cruise is Han Solo. Got him.
Hey, by the way, if you told me Tom Cruise was Boba Fett, I'd be 100% in.
Totally. He's just playing the guy from Collateral, but with a mask. That's it. Yeah. 100% in on that. Not kidding at all.
I have a feeling the Boba Fett movie is just going to be like a galactic Dread 3D. Did you guys see Dread 3D?
Yeah.
It's just going to be like super slow-mo, just like futuristic, like
Can we get Denzel? Can Denzel play?
Oh, yeah.
We need to get Jay Farrow to play
Wesley Snipes
playing Boba Fett.
Oh, bring back. Let's Wesley get out of jail.
Yeah, Wesley,
Seriously.
come on,
All
bro.
right. We're running long here. Let's go to our movie of the week.
Let's go to the movie of the week. Anything else before the movie of the week, or we're going right now?
Let's do it.
We're going right now.
Hit it.
Ladies, prepare yourselves for the movie of the week right now. Hey, man, fam, question for you. Do you own a small business, or are you a boss? Are you looking to hire awesome people, but you just can't find somebody to fill that role? Well, let me tell you about ZipRecruiter.com. With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to 100-plus job sites, all with one click. In fact, over 80% of jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. Right now, you can post your jobs for free on ZipRecruiter by going to ZipRecruiter.com/mad. That's ZipRecruiter.com/mad. One more time, try it for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/mad. Thanks to ZipRecruiter for supporting this episode of the Mad About Movies podcast. Hey, what's up, ma'am, fam? Kent here. And yes, if you're hearing from me, you know it's time to talk about Blue Apron. If you haven't tried out Blue Apron by now, what the heck are you even doing? Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. They deliver fresh meals straight to your door. All the food is fresh, it's sourced from local farms, and there's no wasted ingredients. I've been a Blue Apron subscriber for a long time now, and they have still, to this day, never let me down. There's tons of variety. Some featured upcoming meals include summer vegetable and egg paninis, soy glazed pork and rice cakes, skillet vegetable chili with cheddar drop biscuits, holy crap, and garlic butter shrimp and corn with green bean salad. So take it from me. Try out Blue Apron now. Go to blueapron.com/mad. That's blueapron.com/mad. Get 3 meals on us for free. Nothing goes better with a movie than dinner. So check out Blue Apron. blueapron.com/mad. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
You really believe this story? Osama bin Laden? Yeah. What part convinced you? Her confidence.
All right, guys. We are back with the movie of the week. Brian, you want to start things off? Give us your thoughts of Zero Dark 30, sir.
Sure. Best movie of the year for me. I went back and forth. When I did my top 10 of the year for the website, I went back and forth on it between which I was going to put at #1 between Zero Dark 30 and Argo. and which we'll talk about Argo next week. Stay tuned for that, kids. And but I finally decided. I thought when I look back at 2012, great year for film. That I was going to remember Zero Dark. I was going to remember it as the year that Zero Dark 30 came out. And I've seen the movie twice in theaters, which is rare for me. I don't see a lot of movies multiple times before they get to DVD or Blu-ray. I'm usually a once and then I got to move on to something else. But completely mesmerized by it both times that I saw it. It's an incredible film. It's incredibly well made, and it's important. I don't say that about a lot of films either. But I feel like it's one that people need to see, regardless of how they feel about the controversy of the torture and whatnot. It's an important film to see. And if that's not enough, I think it has the best performance of the year by anybody, by Jessica Chastain. So,
right,
is that enough for you guys? Go see the movie.
That's pretty good, Richard.
Yeah, it's a movie that kind of is the period of the long sentence of the 2000s. I mean, it's the this decade, not necessarily cleanly 2000 through 2010, but loosely, 2001 say through 2012, right, was dominated by this tragic event that happened, and the sort of manhunt, and then wars, even more than a manhunt, that were started thereafter. And this movie, I think, obviously in real life, the assassination of Osama bin Laden was a nice little happy ending, though that being said, it's not lost on me that many lives were lost in the process. But this movie really, I think, like Brian said, not only best movie of the year, but it's important because it sort of puts a period on that sentence, and you artistically and historically get to see really firsthand how that went down. It's a movie that makes you rather, dare I say, proud to be an American, as opposed to Argo, which makes you really proud to be a Canadian if you're Canadian.
Exactly. Yep.
They come off. I mean, we'll talk about this more last week, but they come off so well in that movie. The Americans come off as meh. We had to do what we had to do. But this movie makes you really proud, and the torture's a touchy stuff. I actually consider myself pretty progressive on a lot of issues, and I hate torture. But if it didn't work, we wouldn't be doing it for the last, say, 4,000 years. Right. Obviously, there's false intel that comes from torture. There is an argument in saying, well, if someone's being tortured, they'll say anything to not be tortured, and that's true. However, you do oftentimes get real information too. So it's brutal and it's upsetting, certainly, but sometimes upsetting things need to be done. So I say that not really knowing how I feel about torture in the grand scheme of things. But until another option is given, this shows that it was effective in this case. I mean, if you take this movie for face value, I don't see it as a particularly pro-torture movement movie. I don't really know where that whole. It seems like it sort of came from the not even liberal but ultra liberal Hollywood sphere, as where it came from, and they do themselves a disservice by kind of going against this movie, because it's a movie that really unites us as a country, and that we sort of. I mean, I don't know. I remember my favorite. And this trivializes it, but it's true. My favorite moment ever on Twitter was the night that he was assassinated, because everyone came together and were making jokes and just really celebrating this kind of triumphant moment.
It was epic, yeah.
And it's whether people were Republican or Democrat. I have some staunchly Republican friends that were really excited about President Obama being the president when Obama was killed, and for that moment he was their fearless leader. And so to sort of go against the movie because of your political beliefs, I feel does really you just make yourself look like an idiot.
Right.
It's a really important movie, and fact is the job was done how it was done, and that's it. Sorry, now I'll shut up for the next 10 minutes.
No, you're right though, and I'll jump in just for a sec. But it's not a pro-torture movie, and I'm with you. I don't understand I feel like it's one of those things where it's like people saw the trailer and then said, "Oh, that's pro-torture," and never bothered to see the movie. You know what I mean? Never bothered to see the movie and find out for real what's happening there. And in fact, I mean, some of the most crucial evidence that they get, or some of the most crucial information that they get, doesn't really come from torture. It comes from them tricking him. You know what I mean? And that's so it's hard for me to. I had a hard time stomaching the people complaining about it's pro-torture movie and all this stuff. When no, it's really not. It's a presentation of the facts that were presented to Kathryn Bigelow, the director, and Mark Bull, the writer. And okay, then that's let's just do that. That's.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there, but
no, I'm with
it's
you.
not
100%.
a pro-torture movie, and people need to understand that. If you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. If you don't want to watch it, you don't want to watch it. But don't apply a tag to it that's not applicable.
Yeah,
not at all.
I'm sorry, Kent. Give us your thoughts on the movie.
Okay. Yeah. I have also seen this movie twice. And the first time I saw it, I wasn't sure what I thought about it because it was so powerful in so many different ways. And the second time I saw it, which was fairly recently, it kind of cemented in my mind that it was the best movie of the year of 2012.
Okay.
Even though it was the best movie, I will say it's not my favorite. My favorite was Django. It was number one.
Right.
But it's the best movie. I agree with you when you say that this will be the year that we remember Zero Dark 30. I think we'll remember Avengers and Zero Dark 30 as the big movies of the year. But yeah, I totally agree how this was such a...
Wait, Parker came out in 2013, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Movie
Okay, then we're
43
good.
too, so we're good on that.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Right. This movie is such a, as Richard said, a dot on the I, or a period at the end of the sentence, or as I kind of was thinking for a word to summarize, kind of a concentration of our feelings.
Sure.
Post 9/11, these past 10 years, it was just, and the last time I watched it, I tried to really try to figure out which scene kind of summarized the movie. And it was the scene where they're in the conference room of the embassy in Pakistan, and Mark Strong's character bursts into the conference room, and Chastain's in there, and Kyle Chandler's character, and everyone's in there, and he busts in and he's like ranting about what happened on 9/11. He's like, it's right at the start of the second hour, so he at the human error, I guess, chapter, because it's divided into chapters. And he says, like, they murdered 3,000 of our citizens, and what have we done about it? We haven't done anything, It's like,
yeah.
What have we done? I want specific targets. I want people. I think that's the way the American people felt about it, too. I mean, even though we were in these wars and we've been doing all this supposed, CIA investigation, no one felt that there was any resolve for anything that happened on 9/11.
Sure.
Until
It's a really cathartic movie to watch as an American. I mean, it's a you hate to you hate to say that a movie about an assassination of anyone, evil, good, or whatever, is the feel good movie of the year, but it is especially feel good. I mean, I came out of that movie, really proud and almost glowing in a weird way.
Right.
And I also think that the movie deserves a lot of credit, not only for what it stands for, for us Americans, but just as a movie in general.
Oh yeah, it's a badass movie.
It is just a great thriller. Really, yeah. I mean, the acting is just 100% from everybody, and I feel Jason Clarke, who I feel was kind of overlooked in this movie. He's very good in it.
I mean, if this movie was fictional, it's still a top 3, maybe number 1 movie of the year. Still,
yeah.
It's easy to focus on the social side, but gosh, wow,
it is, and it's absolutely just done so well. The direction, and I didn't know something I didn't notice the first time that I did notice the second time was that during the Osama raid, during the actual scene, there's no music whatsoever.
Yeah,
it's complete silence, and so you really. I mean that leads to a lot of the of the heart pounding for me. What else did you guys think about Chastain? I mean, I know a lot of there's controversy surrounding the fact that, and I don't know if I agree with it, but the fact that she was so empowered by Kathryn Bigelow. I mean, this Maya person, whoever she is, and Bigelow kind of made it seem like it was all her that did everything. I mean, it kind of, to me, it kind of felt like it's kind of a slight at the people that have been working tirelessly behind the scenes as well, you know. And there's a scene where Gandolfini, who plays the CIA director, gets on the elevator with a guy, and he's like, "What do you think about the girl?" And the guy goes, "She's really smart." And he goes, "We're all really smart." You know,
right?
It's like, hey, why
kind of
isn't
self-aware?
Yeah, why isn't anybody looking at me? I've been doing this just as long as anyone, and so what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Richard, why don't you go first? Because then I'm just gonna.
It's admittedly something I haven't really thought about. I mean, I think it's something. It would be. It's, you know, you obviously want to have your protagonist in a movie, and maybe they.
And the whole line that people always reference is "I'm the mother effer that found this place." You know.
Yeah.
Right.
And
like, come on, let's be real. You didn't find it. Like,
and maybe that's something where
people found
whoever leaked the story to Bigelow and Bowl, maybe to protect themselves, maybe they took 3 or 4 people and sort of made them into one to kind of help dramatically tell the story.
Sure.
So I don't know. I haven't researched too much into the, because it's so clouded.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And it was done purely to empower a woman. That's what people are saying, because to empower a woman in this situation.
I disagree with that a little bit. I mean, you've got to. It's the same as like taking a 700-page book and compiling it into a 2-hour movie. I'm all for giving people credit that they're due, but you also have to. You can't put everything in there. I mean, we're talking about a 12-year or 11-year, I guess, something like that, search. Of course, there's going to be a ton of people that had input in all this. You know what I mean? And I think
it helps it narratively.
Yeah.
And it's not like this Maya person's out there, signing book deals and getting credit for it. I mean, as far as the public is concerned, she doesn't exist. So it's not like it's really, she probably, whoever she is, gets some crap in the office about it. But, if they've got to take 6 people and turn them into one to tell a story, I mean, personally, it doesn't offend me, Kent, but it maybe, I mean,
it doesn't offend me either, but I'm just saying that it offended people.
Some people,
that's why they're saying it's not going to win Best Picture, because of reasons like that. And I don't know.
Well, that's silly.
I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
It's not a documentary. I mean,
it's not.
It owes itself to be as historically accurate as it wants to be and can get away with being. I think it got away with whatever the heck it wanted to do. I think it's awesome. And at that point, it should be judged as a movie, not as a piece of historical accuracy.
Right. Well, yeah, they're telling a story. And I mean, it doesn't mean it's not like Kathryn Bigelow came out and said this is the story. You know what I mean? There's going to be sides to every story, and they told their story, and my goodness, it's good, and the way that they do it is incredible. And so I have nothing bad to say about the movie. I thought it was very close to just to being perfect.
Right, I did too. I agree.
And I think a lot of that has to do with Kent and I talked about this on the radio a few weeks ago, but I think that a great deal of pressure was put on the shoulders of Jessica Chastain, and she completely blew it away. I thought she was incredible. I love her just in general. I think the fact that she was not anybody in Hollywood just like 18 months ago, and then all of a sudden she's one of the bigger dramatic stars of the industry is quite the tale to begin with. But she's one that I watch on screen, and I think I am just so glad somebody found her, because she's so great at everything she does. But this is a role that I think would have swallowed up almost any other. I mean, I can say any other, but just about any other actors out there.
Who was it going to be? I can't remember. Who was it supposed to be?
Kristen Stewart, I think, could handle it.
It was supposed to be somebody else, I had heard, but I can't remember who. I'm being serious.
I can't think of that. I guess I haven't heard that.
Tweet at us or email us and let us know.
Maybe it was Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah. Hopefully.
She's an Academy Award nominated actress, Richard. So.
Yeah.
Her and Jessica Chastain have the
She can
same
do
amount of
anything.
nominations.
Yeah. But I did think it was, if there was a better performance this year, then I guess it might have been Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln. But even for me, I would put what Jessica Chastain did above even what Daniel Day-Lewis did in Lincoln. It's an incredible performance, and it's a character that really I think could have become obnoxious in the wrong hands, and she just, like the line that you just talked about, Kent, with the I'm the MFer that found this place. That's a very brash line that I think a lot of other actors.
And she sang it to James Gandolfini too.
Yeah, and she hit the right tone, and I feel like that's a microcosm of the whole movie for her. Just every spot where she could screw up, she knocks it out of the park. And
I'm looking right now, and the character of Maya is based off a composite of 2 female CIA officers.
Okay.
Alfreda Frances Bukowski and Michael Ann Casey. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it was an incredible performance. I thought she carried the movie. I did not expect that. I thought it was not going to be so much of an acting movie, I guess. I thought it was more, it looked to me like it was going to be more of a narrative and a director, you know what I mean? A director's movie. And I thought, but Bigelow was great, but I thought if you didn't have Chastain doing what she did, it falls flat. And she was just incredible. So that's my,
and hats off to the writers, to Mark Bull, the writer. Such good writing. I paid a lot of attention to that second time around, and it holds up very well. I mean, it's a very, very well paced movie, very well written. And if it wins best screenplay, I would not be upset. Really, I don't think.
Sure.
I think it'd be I think it's a better screenplay than The Hurt Locker, for sure.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Zero Dark 30, gentlemen?
Nope, that's all I got.
I should clarify. I thought coming in that it was going to be more of like Argo, which is kind of an ensemble acting, you know what I mean? Rather than dependent upon
performance.
Yeah, singular performance. So that's kind of that's what I was trying to say. But
yeah, and I kind of agree there. I liked it more than Argo. I think it's just a more, like you said, a more important film, and I can see why Argo would win Best Picture, but man, I hope Zero Dark 30 has a chance. I really do. I really hope it beats Argo. Sorry to say that. I know your guys are rooting for Argo, but
I think it's the best movie of the year. I do understand why Argo is. We said
it's more Hollywood. It's way more Hollywood.
Yeah, and I thought Argo was a great movie. So it was my number 2 movie of the year, obviously. So I mean, you know, I'm not going to complain if my second best movie of the year is gonna win Best Picture.
Better than The Artist.
Yes.
I will say though, and I've said this many times, The Artist, the best silent movie of 2011. and that's a title
of the decade.
Exactly. You know what? You're right. I'll dare say that is the best silent movie in the last 10 years, and that's something you can never take away from The Artist.
Right.
All right, guys. I gotta run, but it's been fun.
You gotta run. It's been fun. Run. And I'm holding a gun. You always gotta run.
I know it's hard to wrangle me, guys.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys have anything you want to recommend for the week?
I do. I want to.
So you guys go ahead and go.
You gotta run.
I mean, I'll stay on, but
okay.
I mean, House of Cards, my recommendation already went over.
Yeah, I was going to mention House of Cards, but I wanted to also mention The Walking Dead. Season premiere was this past week. It had like 17 million viewers or something crazy.
Yeah.
Really, really good show. If you haven't gotten into it. Get on Netflix. Watch season 1 and 2. It's really good. Do you guys watch The Walking Dead? Brian, do you watch it? No?
I do. You
do watch it?
Yeah, I fell away from it after the break of season 2 and kind of got bored with it, and then caught back up before season 3 started, and it got the momentum back, and I really I haven't watched this week's episode yet, but I felt like it left in a good place at the break of season 3. So I'm excited to get back into it. It's a fun show. It's fun to me to see how many people that you don't. I mean, it's kind of a horror thing, but so many people that I know that I wouldn't expect to watch it. It's become kind of this cultural phenomenon where so many people watch it that you're, like my wife's aunt and her husband watched The Walking Dead, and it's just such a one of those
it is random.
things. Yeah.
I agree. It's a good show, very well done, very visceral in a lot of ways. Crazy that they allow some of that stuff on television, but it's like I said, it's awesome, and please get into it. And you're missing out if you don't watch it. Brian, weekly recommend?
Yeah, I just watched a movie today that I think a lot of people would like. It's called The Imposter. It's a documentary from last year. It's about a boy from San Antonio who, like, in the early 90s went missing, and then about 4 years later, the family gets a call from the authorities in Spain, and they say, "We've got your son here." And so they bring the kid home, and then it slowly unravels from there of whether this, clearly it's not their kid. And as the mystery kind of gets unraveled, it gets picked up really hard. It's very intense. It really had my heart racing and kind of almost in a horror movie sort of way, or a thriller, I guess. It's really good, and really, it's got a little more production value than I really like from my documentaries, but the story is great. And the people involved, it's very interesting. It's worth watching. It's not on Netflix yet, but documentaries usually have a way of finding their way there pretty quick. But I had to actually go and find it and rent it from an actual store, which is weird. But
Where'd you
it's
go?
really good. It's really I really enjoy it. Family Video, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Still got a couple of those around, and
there's one right
usually. Yeah, that's usually where I go if I've got to.
Yeah, Family Video is the jam, dude.
Yeah, they have so much great stuff. Yeah, so
I'm still a video update guy for me, but remember video update?
Video update. Wow.
One time I rented a movie there in the middle of the summer. I was with my mom. I was probably in 5th or 6th grade, and I handed the movie and/or video game that I was renting to the girl. She looked me in the eye for about a 3 Mississippi, and then vomited all over my mother.
Nice.
Good times.
Video update.
And later you went on a date.
Video update, ladies and gentlemen.
Vomiting on customers since 1996.
Good times.
Good times.
All right, we gotta. Hey, Kent, where can we find you this week on Twitter or wherever?
Well,
else?
I just want to tell the listeners you can like us on Facebook. Just search for Mad About Movies podcast, and we have a Facebook page. And you can also email the show with comments, suggestions for topics, and complaints. You can email and direct all complaints toward at Richard Barden. No, I'm just kidding. I'll come
back at you. You're not going to win. You're not going to win against me. I'm angry. I've got anger issues.
You can email the show at madaboutmoviespodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, madaboutmoviespodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at Kent Garrison, Kent, like Superman Garrison with 2 R's. Brian, where can I find you online?
Yeah, I'm at Bigelow12 on Twitter, and you can find my reviews and movie content at thesoapboxoffice.com. And also, if you're listening on iTunes, give us a like on there and give us a 5-star review, and we'll start building our audience, and we'll be forever grateful.
Yes, thank you very much. Richard, where can we find you online?
You can find me at Richard Barden on Twitter or richardbarden.com.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Until then, we'll see you at the cinema.
See ya.